An Uno's Christmas, written by Mike Burns and Connie Rouse, edited by Suzanne Carroll and Karen Donnelly, illustrated by Rosanna Dana Beers, narrated by Mike Burns. 'Twas a Saturday in December, on a day in the dorm, and I awoke with a jolt, for I had work in the morn. I donned my black shoes and the rest of my clothes, and set off for the seaport to work at Uno's. I set up my tables and cleaned up my station, my head filled with thoughts of Christmas vacation, of parties with eggnog and Christmas cheer, of seeing old friends and flying reindeer. But the restaurant got busy, and I slaved away. I'd have to dream of Christmas some other day, when on the horizon, much to my demise, a sea of red and white arose from the skies, and marching on the streets filled with joy and mirth were thousands of Santas and elves in short skirts. Who knew why this miraculous event took place? But we were not prepared in any case. And after taking over the harbor without warning or cause, the restaurant was bombarded by 1,000 Santa Claus. At first I was thrilled. How festive, how cheerful. There were thousands of Santas. No need to be fearful. But as I looked face to face, I said, who would have thunk? These Santas aren't jolly, they're slobbering drunk. There are elves that jumped rope, and Santas that stripped, Santas with beer goggles, and Santas that whipped. I saw Jesus Christ, and an old Saint Nick, a Queen Frostine, and many Santas sick. They gobbled and chortled, and of course ho-ho-hoed. They sang and they screamed, and some even tangoed. But despite all the Santas, the smart and the lame, the big and the small, they were smashed just the same. Then all of a sudden, these Santas that stretched on afar decided simultaneously to take to the bar. And faster than I could count Santa's tiny reindeer, the bartender shouted, "Shit! We're out of light beer!" This unfortunate fact he should have kept quiet, for the Santas grew confused and threatened to riot. Glasses were smashed and alcohol was spewed. Their behavior was obnoxious, violent, and rude. They engulfed the whole restaurant, the balconies, the mall. They fought at the bar and crowded the hall. My manager was desperate. It seemed all hope was lost. He had to save his restaurant no matter what cost. So the decision was made to even the scores. We would close off the restaurant by locking all the doors. At first it seemed the Santas were safely deterred, but we could not have foreseen the wrath we incurred. Now the Santas were angry, and they started to shout, because some wanted in and some wanted out. And the regular customers were lost in the din, as the Santas escaped and the Santas broke in. And the undecorated patrons who were scared of attack were paying me moolah to sneak them out the back. Just when I thought myself safe from the fray, a particularly drunk Santa kicked the door from his way. He broke through the hinge and it smashed on the ground, and this caught the attention of all the Santas around, who stampeded again with renewed hunger and thirst for more liquor and beer, but this time for the worst. We feared for our lives, by tradition perverted, but the door was reshut, and the crisis averted. The fighting ran on for an hour or two, with Santas scratching at windows and trying to break through. But the Santas grew bored, with nothing to break or mar, and started for home, or at least another bar. At last my shift was over, and what a shift it had been. I admit I was exhausted, completely done in, and as I headed for home I saw that one Santa did remain. Alone in the cold, he called out my name, and I heard him exclaim as he puked on my feet, "Merry Christmas to all, and hey, those shoes are neat."